北川さん、急にどうしたんですか？だって
嬉しいから。じゃ、撮るね。笑って。3、2、1。めっちゃいいんだけど。五条くん、ありがとう。
北川さん、恥ずかしいのでそろそろ。
Absolute cinema, okay? My Dress Up Darling, my friends, is officially ended. The season finale is upon us. That's all she wrote, literally, I guess. And yeah, My Dress Up Darling is officially over. And it was almost chef's kiss. I will tell you guys up front, there was one disappointment that will take this season to a 9 out of 10 for me overall. And it's just because all season long was leading up to Marin finally confessing her feelings to 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐽. And all episodes, she was prepping herself. And then she eventually ends with asking him for a selfie. And don't get me wrong, selfie is adorable. It's cute. And I've talked ad nauseum on how this show is a romantic slow burn. And it does that slow burn well, where most anime fail. But I would say that it would have been nice for her just to blurt out, you know, like just like have the show end with her blurting out like that, you know, I like you or I love you or something, right? Maybe she stutters it a little bit and then the show just kind of ends. Or when they're about to take, maybe she messes up when they're about to take the selfie and she like takes the picture. She's like, I love you. And then 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐽's face is like that. And that's the end picture that we had. I think that would have been, oh my God, just I think that, you know, one of the things is like we give our time, our money, and our fandom to certain properties. And for me, My Dress Up Darling is up there. Top 10. I love the show so much. It's so good. I will recommend it to anybody, right? And of course, the weirdos are going to get weeded out themselves because, you know, they can't, you know, if there's a speckle of any fan service, you know, they lose their minds. Those ones, you know, hey, they are what they are. But for everybody else, which is like the 90% of anime audience, I would definitely recommend this if people are open mind to, you know, other genres of anime, because people just watch certain genres. I would easily recommend this, but I was again disappointed at the end just because I think they could have just been a little sprinkle of like just ending on that confession. Oh my God, it would have been just the perfection. It would have been 10 out of 10. It would have been perfection. But because we basically were leading up all season to this confession and leading up all last episode, which is episode 12 or episode 24, whichever you're counting, and it didn't happen, I have to admit, I'm just simply disappointed in that. And maybe you are too. And it's okay to be disappointed in something that you really love, right? I think that there's certain video games that are part of trilogies that, you know, some of them really nail that like moment at the end. And you're like, I gotta see more. And you have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years before you get that. And some of them don't, right? Some of them end up sucking. And it's okay to say, hey, man, this is the best game ever. But then that ending just really, I just hated it. And I think that's okay. And I think it's okay in this situation too, to be like, man, this was such a great season. This was such a cool episode. Akira fangirling out over her best girl, Marin. Marin realizing that Akira does not like her. She actually really loves her too hard, so much so that she created one of the funniest scenes of the season. And but it's also okay to be like, but I really wish that Andy would have nailed the landing, and it just didn't. And that's so disappointing. And I don't know if it's an adaptation thing. I've told you guys before that like the volumes that I own were up to like 3 or 4 episodes ago as far as content, I think it was. So I don't have volume 9 or beyond, essentially. So wherever volume 8 ended, and I did my very best to not read beyond what I had seen. So I had started, I basically didn't read the volumes, but I did kind of skim through as the season was kind of middling. I kind of skimmed through, was like, oh shit, like, okay, here's where I'm at. And I'm going to do my best to not read moving forward either, assuming that we get a season 3 pretty soon, which I think we will. I think we'll probably see season 3 as we go into 2026. So, you know, anyways, you know, I think this, you know, the season was great. I think last season really showed had the fan service, and it really showed them pushing the barrier in line as, you know, 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐽 and Marin were getting used to each other and being very open with each other and opening up their hearts and their hobbies. And this season was very much you know, they're already in this relationship, even if they're not calling it that. They're already in this relationship. This season was all about showing what does life look like as two high schoolers who are in this relationship. And it's very much Marin going to his house and eating with him and spending time with his grandfather and him spending time in her place and them planning out more cosplays and outfits and how does that look like, and him learning more skills and the cameras and the makeup and, you know, the acceptance of other students and making friends, and 𝐿𝐻𝐻 making real life friendships for the first time and expanding his wings. And a lot of this season was a focus on 𝐿𝐻𝐻. And I mean, the man that he was at episode 1 of season 1 and the man that he is now, or boy, whatever you want to say, but the boy that he is now are two different people, and he has just grown exponentially. I think this season really nailed that, and I think I really loved it quite a bit. Now with this episode, like I said, you know, I love watching their cosplay and the blood and 𝐻𝐻𝐻 passing out because she doesn't do horror well, but, you know, having a great conversation with 𝐿𝐻𝐻. I love the Akira stuff as 𝐿𝐻𝐻 was realizing that she was a fangirl and he didn't understand and he was getting nervous, and it was just such a funny scene of her freaking out and then Marin being like, oh my god, you love me, and her going in her face just it was just such a cute scene and so well done and just so funny. And then of course the ending with the selfie, like I said, incredibly cute. I just wish we had a little sprinkle of just something more, that I think if it just had that little bit, just like that little, like, you know, they take the selfie, she couldn't get it out, she takes the selfie, they take the picture, and she goes, 𝐿𝐻𝐻, I love you. And then it just, that's the picture that it ends on. Oh my God. It would have been so good, but it wasn't. And I think it did hurt it a little bit. And I would say that the show ended at 9 out of 10. Still one of the best shows. It's going to be one of the best shows of 2025. It's going to be one of my favorites of 2025. It's going to be one that I rewatch, you know, when it's getting dubbed currently. When the dub's finish, I'm going to rewatch the dub with my wife. I'm probably going to rewatch it again. I'll probably do a season 1, season 2 rewatch before it comes out. I'll probably rewatch it a couple more times. I think I've watched the original season probably somewhere around 8 or 10 times already. So I'll probably watch this one. So it doesn't end up not being my favorite. Just, it could have been perfection and it just was really close. So yeah. Anyways, absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much for joining me all season long for my Dress Up Darling. Absolute cinema, as they say. And it was just such a pleasure to share it with you guys week after week after week. And seeing 𝐿𝐻𝐻's journey and seeing him become a different character was just so cool to see all season long. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of it. Let me know your final comments in the comments below. Hit me with the like before you leave. Definitely hit that like button. Not enough of you do that. You watch, but you don't hit the like button. Hit the like button. It helps me out, and it shares it more with more people on YouTube. And it frankly helps me earn some money too from these videos with the advertisers. So help me out there, and I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you in the fall as we transition into fall season of anime. All right, friends. Peace out.